Hi there. Welcome to the Floyd Chamber Small Business Spotlight. This is Rome Business Radio. We are broadcasting from the Hardy Realty Studios, and we work in cooperation with the Rome News Tribune. I am Roger Manus with Rome Business Radio.
And I'm Thomas Kislet with the Floyd Chamber.
What's going on, Thomas?
It's a warm day today.
Yes.
I'm sweaty a little bit, but, same busy as always.
That's a little too much information there.
And you're funny.
I really am.
We talked about ambassadors last week.
Yes, we did.
We had our ambassador meeting on Friday, and we just recreated that program, and we had over 25 volunteers show up to the meeting, and then we went right after that to Canvas on Broad and had a ribbon cutting there. They were like overwhelmed, but everybody showed up. So a special shout out to all the ambassadors out there. So
great.
Keep up the great work.
So that's off to a roaring start.
Yes.
Fantastic. And we've got a couple of great guests today on our podcast here at the Floyd Chamber Small Business Spotlight. Would you please introduce them?
Yes, we have across from the table from me, it's Tina Bottelson, and she's the Executive Director of the Family Resource Center. And then we have from the Early Way, which is a retailer from Broad Street. He has a grand opening this weekend coming up and ribbon cutting. Rontavious, he goes by Tay Coley, and he's the president of the company.
Hello, y'all.
How you doing this morning?
How are we doing?
Doing good.
Are y'all nervous? No, y'all look chill. Ready to go? Thanks for being here. We do appreciate it. Tina, we'll start with you as the Executive Director, Exchange Club Family Resource Center. I did some Googling. I know it's you're fighting child abuse is the overall, but so kind of take us in the weeds a little bit. The overall mission, what are you guys about?
Yeah, well, we recently revised our mission statement. So, of course, preventing child abuse is our ultimate goal, but we are working with families in Floyd County that may be feeling overwhelmed, and our goal is to empower them to create safe, stable, and nurturing homes so that their children can grow and thrive. We do that by providing in-home services to family. We're offering information. We're offering coaching one-on-one with parents, and just helping them address challenges that may place children at risk.
When you say families get overwhelmed, can you give me some examples of what you mean by that?
Oh, sure. Maybe a grandmother who is all of a sudden faced with raising 2 or 3 grandchildren because their own children are at a spot they can't do that.
Gotcha.
Or you have a new mom, very first baby, and they're in poverty and not quite sure how to get that child on a schedule or what they need to do. That can just be an overwhelming situation.
Great. Okay. Thanks for the big picture view, and we will certainly circle back around. We want to get to Rontavious here, or Tay as he has asked us to call him, and I'm probably going to screw that up a couple of times. Tell us about the Early Way.
Well, the Early Way on Broad is it's a luxury sneaker boutique, consignment shop with hard to find items like you won't find around here, stuff that's limited. That's
we'll find around it here now.
We will now. Well, stuff that's like sold out online, stuff you can only get like in Cali or like LA or Canada. I try to specialize in getting hard to find sneakers and items like that.
Okay, and how do you get them? Is that a secret?
It's not really a secret, man. I travel around. I have resources. I have friends all over. So, I kind of networked into that business, and, we ship stuff around. So
is it primarily sneakers or other retail, T-shirts?
It's primarily sneakers, but we actually because we had one location, but this location we moved into now, we went from 1,000 square feet to 5,000 square feet. So we were able to expand on our clothing. So we have a ton of different clothing and streetwear items. So it's basically, honestly, it was brought here for like the younger kids to like have like somewhere that they really shop, and just a good space for them to come in and just be in a safe environment.
Okay, I am aware of the fact that sneakers are incredibly popular now. There's high end and there's very expensive, and Jordans and. But tell me about it. It's obviously a passion for yours, and it's a passion among a younger group. Yeah. Just tell me about it as a passion.
Honestly, it's not even just a younger group thing, because I have clients that come in and might be 70 years old and still buy Jordans. So I mean,
really?
it's just a sneakerhead culture is not really an age thing. Yes, it's primarily for younger kids or like 25, 30 and under. But
Gen X. Yay.
but I mean, we have clients that come in all ages, so it can be a baby to a 70-year-old, 80-year-old, and they love shoes. Like, shoes is just a universal thing. And some people that don't even like shoes just like to come in and just see cool stuff. So that's another thing. That's like
that would be me. Have you always loved them?
Yes, sir. So honestly, I always loved them, but I never was always able to afford them.
Right.
But I was always a sneakerhead, so I honestly only got like 2 shoes a year, one for the beginning of the year, then one for Christmas, and I just had to keep those clean for both school semesters. So, I mean, that's kind of how I grew up, but I always loved shoes. So once I got a little older and I can afford them, that's what really helped me get to where I'm at today.
Now, are you from here originally, or?
I grew up here, yes. I was born in Atlanta, but I grew up in Rome. I actually went to the original Anna K. Davey, and I graduated from Rome High School and Rome Middle.
Okay. So it's another thing you've thrown out 2 or 3 times. Sneakerhead. That's a thing. That's that's what you call your clientele. That the people who are passionate about it.
Yes, I mean you sneakerhead. Just like if you love golf, you might be a golf head.
Yeah.
So it's just
or Jimmy Buffett, you'd be a parrot head. Or Grateful. What's the Grateful Dead followers? I forget. The Beehive for Beyonce. Everybody. Yeah, there's a thing.
Or cheese head. You a
Packers fan. Yeah. Yes, sneakerhead. Okay, great. So, Tina, how did you first get involved with the Family Resource Center? What's your background and how did you get connected?
When I was starting out in my career, 32 years ago now, I was an investigator with the Division of Family and Children's Services. So saw a lot of families come in, it seemed like again and again, and it just hit me that if we could provide parents with information, they love their children, most parents do. If we give them information and support, they're better equipped to make good decisions for their children. And luckily, the Family Resource Center opened in '91, and when they had an opening for a director, I applied, and they hired this little green person to head up that organization, and so I've been working with them ever since. I really believe in the model that we make change by forming relationships with people and with families and children, and when we, I sound like a broken record, when we provide information and support, help our fellow neighbor out, they're better able to reach their potential.
So you've been involved with the organization for 30 years.
Basically,
yeah.
I took a little break when my son was born back in 2001, and then did some part-time work with our national organization until they wanted me to travel 6 weeks a year, and then I was able to come back here in 2013. So.
I guess my point there is generationally, there are grown people walking around Rome, Georgia, that were children that you benefited greatly.
Well, right, yeah. I had just this short story. I had a mom that I remember calling on when I was with Family and Children's Services, and she was a teenager at that time, and a lot of not so good things happening in her life that she didn't disclose all of it until she was grown. But when she had her firstborn, she called us and said, I really need help because I don't really know what to do with these children. And so she worked with our program. She and her husband did, and they successfully graduated. Well, she walked into our office a few years ago. She's had 3 children. All 3 of them have graduated high school. They're all employed. They all have their own children, and they're thriving. And then she herself went on to school and got her associate's degree in human services. So it was really cool because I know what her family was like. They were in just extreme poverty, and it was a really hard situation. And so it gives me chills just thinking about it.
I was going to say that's one of those feel-good stories where you see the success of the program. So good for you. Tay, what is your background? You said you obviously went to Rome High, but opening your own business, there's an entrepreneurial gene in you. So let's talk business. What's your background and how did you get here?
So I've always been a smarter kid, but I come from a lower background. I grew up in housing projects and stuff like that. But I mean, I never got consumed in all of that. So I would say I was actually in a gifted program as a kid. So that really exposed me to a lot of different things. I had a mentor, you might know or heard of him, John Hershey, and that works with Georgia Highlands. He just recently retired, but I promise you, he actually helped change my life. He had a program called Writers Academy, and I joined that the first year. I think I was 8 years old, and ever since then, he's been like a father figure to me that really helped me and made sure everything, like school-wise and everything, that I, didn't fall off and stayed on track to, now. This year, I actually be graduating with my bachelor in healthcare management at Georgia Highlands.
Good for you. Congratulations.
Awesome.
And starting a business. Well, when did you actually, I know you're moving or have moved. When did you start it?
I opened it April 4th of last year, which I really started from actually selling shoes out my trunk online, traveling around everywhere. But we opened the store in April 4th of last year, and it did pretty well, but we needed more space, so we expanded this year.
And grand reopening, I guess, and ribbon cutting and all that is scheduled. So you obviously did very well if you took the step up. But as a business person, I mean, does that feel risky, or is it just the next step of where you want to take this?
I mean,
risk is part of it, isn't it?
You got to put it all on the line.
That's what I'm talking about.
I mean, I come from nothing, so I can't lose. So I feel like if I put everything, I literally came from nothing. So it's like I put everything on the line at all times because, I mean, the bigger the risk, the bigger the reward. And to me, it's really not about the money. I just want to keep expanding because I didn't come from an entrepreneurial family. I came from, just my grandmother and my granddad took care of me and made sure I was straight at all times. But, the hustle, I guess it was just in my blood. And once I got older and I just decided, I'm going to tell you what changed it for me. I went and worked at a factory for 3 months, and I was like, I'll never do this again in my life. So
I'd rather be the boss.
Yeah, that really changed me. I was in schools, and I wasn't doing as well as I should, so I took time off. That's when I went and worked at the factory. I was like, I'm not doing this. So I got back in school, reached back out to my mentor, John Hershey, and he got me back and got me into Georgia Highlands. And, ever since then, I mean, I've had so many great opportunities. I got to go study abroad in Africa, and I think going to Africa, it was 5 years ago now, but it really helped change my life. It helped me see a different perspective of everything. Everything people tell you about a certain place until you go there, it's completely different. So I really appreciated that moment to help me, really see what I wanted to do in my life. So.
Well, good for you. So we need to get this John Hershey on our show at some point. The fact that you're praising him but this is you. You're the one that has taken the risk and pushing the growth, and that's we love the success stories. We're here to talk about businesses and entrepreneurship and programs that serve the community and make life better here. So, what's something just as a business person that maybe you weren't expecting? What's starting a business?
T-word, taxes.
The government's going to get their money. Yeah,
learning the tax game. That's really the only thing. Until you really start a business and you actually have to experience that first year of learning taxes. You need to learn more about that before going into business. But other than that, I think people going into business need to, expand on their social medias, keep a clean social media, network more, get involved, know your neighbors, whoever's your business, around your business. You have to really be involved in your community too, because if you're getting money from your community and you're not helping in your community, it just defeats the purpose. The purpose is to give back. Well, at least that's my purpose. I always want to give back, help out the next kid that's on the right path, but doesn't have a push. So I always try to give back to kids and, donate shoes to schools and stuff like that.
Good for you. And you mentioned networking, and that's obviously the chamber, Thomas. You got to love hearing that.
Yeah. Tay, he joined doing our membership campaign last year, so he's brand new, and you know, he's a busy man, so we just starting to get involved, really, you know, with your grand opening or with your move, with the podcast today, and tomorrow we have a ribbon cutting, and we hope to have a big crew out there to help you push the opening there, and we're all looking forward to it, to also enhance, you know, the variety of stuff you have on Broad Street. It's a great location, 200 Broad Street. It's the former Stella Blue shop right there on 2nd Avenue and Broad at the corner there. And you have great neighbors there, and you know, kudos to you. And I'm gonna reach out lots of sneakerheads. It's funny, actually. I sent off a book to my brother-in-law in Germany, and he is a sneakerhead. He is into Adidas and, you know, vintage Pumas, because those were brothers, by the way, Puma and Adidas. But it's a different story.
Right.
When that started in the same village, now they have multi-million, you know, billion-dollar enterprises. Anyway, we just sent him a Nike book, and I was looking through there, and it's like a whole catalog, and it's a whole big movement. That's amazing. And I also love, you know, the online side of it, you know, reaching out to the world from Rome, Georgia. That's what we love, you know, to expand businesses beyond the county lines, but have a presence right here.
And I'm seeing the Dodgers cap that you're wearing instead of a Braves cap.
I'm a Braves fan. I just like the colors.
Yeah.
Big Braves fan. I have a Braves tattoo on me.
So it's just a style thing.
It's just a style.
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
It's off season, you know.
Well,
Yeah.
I became
I don't wear LA during season.
I became a Rams fan in the postseason just because of Matthew Stafford. I'm a Georgia Bulldog, and I was rooting for Sony Michel, and so everybody's got their stuff. Their allegiances.
Go Dogs, by the way.
Yeah, Tell you and I are going to get along just fine. This is good stuff. Tina, I do know you guys are in a situation, obviously, where you're a nonprofit, and you got a fundraiser coming up. It's your movie night, and we were joking before the podcast. I said, "And what other fundraisers do you do?" And she said, "Well, it'd be easier for you to tell me what we don't do." But tell us about movie night, and then tell us about some of the other stuff that
I want to build a bridge, by the way, you know, with the movie that you're showing from the sneaker guy, you know.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, have you ever seen Forrest Gump?
Yes.
Okay.
Everybody's seen Forrest Gump.
That's one of the.
Well, that's the movie we're showing at our movie night this year. Ordinarily, we are at Rome Cinemas, but they're in the middle of a renovation, so we're lucky enough to be able to get into the DeSoto Theater.
Well, I've heard of that.
Yeah, it's a wonderful, beautiful place. And, you know, they're well set up for us. But our event takes place this coming Tuesday, February the 22nd. Doors will open at 6, and our movie gets started a bit after 7. And before the movie begins, people can come in and have a wide variety of hors d'oeuvres and treats provided by our local favorite restaurants. And then they get to watch Forrest Gump. And, of course, the bridge there is, my mama says that you can tell a lot about a person from their shoes, right? That's one of the opening statements.
And of course,
That's honest.
And he was a runner. You know, so
that's
you need
right.
you need
Right.
the proper shoes to run. From that day on, I was running.
Yeah, I showed the film.
Jenna.
I showed the movie to my children this past weekend. I have 17-year-olds, and one of them, I have twins, and one of them watched it the next day. Her new favorite movie in all the world is Forrest Gump.
Well, and it's like one of the most quotable. I mean, here we are. It came out, I guess, almost 30 years ago originally.
2001.
And there's so many different quotes like you just did. But I don't want to digress and start doing movie quotes here. But you mentioned that before the movie, you have your gathering but before that, people can go shop for sneakers.
That's
and,
right.
And then at the early way, and then just walk up to the DeSoto.
That's right. They could have brand new sneakers on. We would love that.
Well, you should have like coupons for the guests, because everybody's going to be excited and wants to run and needs new sneakers.
I need to try to get some Forrest Gump Nikes in.
Yeah,
There you
Look
go.
big. Yeah.
Yeah, we're before we know it, we're going to have Tom Hanks here signing autographs.
Yeah, that'd be amazing.
No, that's false advertising. But of course, the movie night is a big fundraiser. But you mentioned you do several other through the year. So what are some of the other things that you guys do?
Right. Well, we have Scott Thompson, an evening with Scott Thompson. He'll be with us in June. We have a golf event that's in May. The Clock Tower 5K Road Race, that's an annual event. You run it.
Yes.
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 Every August, third weekend in August, we have a bowling tournament. So whatever your passion, maybe we need to have a sneaker conference or
What
something.
about the fair? Aren't you involved in the fair too?
The fair is actually put on by the Exchange Club. They are our founder, but they do indeed put that event on, and then we receive a portion of those proceeds.
Sometime this year, I do plan to host a sneaker ball. You can dress up in suits and wear sneakers. So.
Oh.
That's a great idea.
Wow. Yeah.
That actually sounds more comfortable.
Yeah.
You guys need to talk.
I think so. Yeah.
That is a great idea. How else can other people get involved?
Sure. Obviously, the financial donations is a way that we're able to bring services out to the community. And it really is an investment into children and youth when people contribute. So they can do that by going online at frcrome.org. But we have opportunities that people want to give their time. We have events, obviously 6 events a year, so we need some manpower in organizing those events, and that's a great way to connect and meet other people in your community. So we hope that people will do that.
Did you take a hit during COVID from your events and fundraising, and are you trying to make up ground now?
Right. That first year in 2020, we didn't really miss a beat, but 2021, and it looks like 2022 is a little tougher. We kind of foresaw that would be the case for us, but our events last year took like a 15% hit. So
Okay.
it's been a little, we've got a tight budget this year.
And regarding your services, do families reach out to you? How do you connect with families, or do you hear about it somehow and follow up with them? How do you make those connections with the families to offer support?
Right. We get about 2 or 4 self-referrals a month where, someone's just heard about our services and calls us. But the rest of them come from the agencies in town. We receive a lot of referrals from Family and Children's Services because obviously they're the first first place people call when they think a family's in trouble. So they will send a lot of families our way. They may not even be involved with the family. But pediatricians, the hospital, school systems, we just get referrals from all over.
Okay, Tay, I've got another business question for you. Sometimes I like to follow up here on when a business is starting up. What you mentioned, you had worked at a warehouse and you didn't want to do that, but and obviously sneakers. The sneaker culture is a passion of yours. So kind of what went on in your brain to put those two things together and say, I'm going to go risk this and start this, and why does Rome need this? Just tell me about your entrepreneurial vision that brought it all together and said, let me do this.
Well, I always been a shaker and a mover. So I seen an opportunity, and I knew Rome didn't have anything like this. A lot of people, even today, still say, why don't you put your store in Atlanta? But why would I do that if this is where I'm born, or raised at, and this is what needs it? Like, Atlanta has a lot of stuff, but Rome doesn't have this stuff. And you shouldn't have to travel an hour to get these type of things. So that's why I'm stuck. Like, I want to really take Northwest Georgia, not even just Rome, the whole Northwest Georgia, to the next level with the sneaker culture, and really give people the opportunity to not have to travel all the way around and just really come here to shop, come to my shop, but even come to the restaurants here and all that. Like, I've had people come from all the way from Cali just to shop at the shoe store. So it's been pretty amazing the type of people that come inside the store. Like, I recently had this one kid that I didn't even know, just a young kid came in with his dad, but he's gonna be the next big movie star. Like, he's in a new movie with Halle Berry. And it's just random people like that come in the shop, and I mean that's what keeps me going, because you never know who you'll meet. So.
And so a lot of this is word of mouth with your world. But how else do you market yourself? Social media or radio or newspaper? What are you doing?
TikTok.
Thomas just pointed at me like we need to do a TikTok for the podcast, and I'm like, I'm not a TikToker.
I feel like you're a funny guy. I feel like you'd be good on TikTok.
Oh, great.
You do a dance with his shoes.
No, Thomas needs to do the dancing. I'll just do the comedy relief.
So we got TikTok. We're gonna do. I'm gonna start a podcast. YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. Instagram probably our biggest market. But
Oh, sure, because it would be a visual thing to see a product and come in the store.
yes, so
Yeah.
I mean, pretty much every social media, the Early Way on Broad is on, and that's our name. Instagram is the Early Way 247. YouTube, the Early Way on Broad. TikTok, the Early Way on Broad. So everything's pretty much either the Early Way or the Early Way on Broad. You know, you just Google it, you'll see us on everything.
I didn't hear Facebook. See, Facebook is for the.
For
I do
us
have a
old
Facebook. It's the
people.
Early Way on Broad. I forgot about it, but Facebook actually does. I do get a lot of clientele from Facebook, but that's how I connect with the older generation. You know,
Right.
a lot of people get to see it more from Facebook. The older
Didn't
generation.
just say that.
No, I'm saying because what I mean by that is Facebook was like the first like social media. So you know, like
Those people are now 20 years older now.
yeah. So they don't really want to try new social media. So you have to keep that platform just to connect with everyone. So it is an important platform.
Yeah, right.
And I would suggest any kind of new businesses to pay for marketing on those apps, like
where you can pay and expand the reach.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, definitely, it works a lot. It works wonders.
And the chamber membership, of course.
And the chamber membership, of course, it's very important.
You're in a different situation, Tina, being in a nonprofit situation. So marketing, I guess, would be the wrong way to say it, but you do need to get the word out that people know who you are and what you do so that you can perform the services. So how do you do that? Just through your fundraisers and social media and things like that?
Well, we have, I guess, two different audiences. So we have a target of families that maybe could benefit from our services. So we market ourselves a lot to other nonprofits, to doctors, hospitals, folks who could, say, recognize a family and then point them in our direction. Of course, we're involved with the chamber as well. And then for our social media and our website and articles, things like this, we're really targeting folks who might support our work and be willing to invest in it. Ultimately, that has a really strong effect on the community, that sort of investment.
Sure. Okay, well, we want to go around the room here one final time just to make sure we get out any contact information, website, phone number, street address, however you want people to connect with you. But also give Thomas an opportunity here to give his final thoughts. Thomas sometimes comes up with a theme of connectivity, and we might have already done it with
The bridge, was right there. But I usually have a quote. I had one prepared, but your quote, just nailed it today. The bigger the risk, the bigger the reward. So, it says it all. That's the spirit of entrepreneurship. Also, a big shout out to Tina. I think I mentioned a couple of times we have been foster parents before, and we used Tina's knowledge, not really the services deeply enough, but we were at a point, we were new foster parents, and we there were some doors that we couldn't reopen, and we knocked on the Family Resource Center store, and I met with Tina, and that's how we met the first time. I think that's 5 years ago now. It's 17, and she helped us a lot, getting things moving and done in a quicker pace.
Oh.
Thank you again.
well, that's a nice story. Good. Okay, just final thoughts and contact information, how people can follow you or connect with you or reach out to you. Tina, we'll start with you.
You can call us at 706-290-0764, and our website is frcrome.org.
Beautiful. Tay?
Well, our new location is 200 Broad Street on the corner of East 2nd and Broad Street. Email is theearlyway247@gmail.com. Our Instagram is theearlyway247. Our Facebook is The Early Way on Broad. TikTok, The Early Way 247, and our YouTube is The Early Way 24/7.
So when you move locations, you didn't have to change The Early Way on Broad.
Nope, I stayed on Broad.
we never really talked about the name. Do we have time just for the name?
Sure.
The
Early
Way. The
Yeah.
Early Way. What?
Yeah.
So originally when I first started selling sneakers, I was getting sneakers before they broke a release date. So that's where I kind of came up with the name, The Early Way, and like it stuck. I was gonna change the name, but like a lot of people was like, "No, I like it. It's catchy," so I kept it, and that's where we at today, The Early Way.
That is so funny. That was the first question I wanted to ask, and I cannot believe I was going to do that at the top of the show because when you have an unusual name like that. So thank you, Thomas, for bringing us home with the most obvious question of the day.
But now it's like it's a lifestyle. So a lot of people use that phrase, the early way. Like I want to be on top of something. I want to be first. It's the early way. So
Hashtag
the
early way.
Hashtag the early way. So use that next time you post something on Instagram.
Good for you. Or I'll do it the next time I post on TikTok.
We got to get you on TikTok ASAP.
I appreciate it. Thank y'all so much for being here. This was great. You've been listening to the Rome Floyd Chamber Small Business Spotlight. I'm Roger Manis with Rome Business Radio. For Thomas Kislett with the Chamber, we broadcast from the Hardy Realty Studios, and we work in cooperation with the Rome News Tribune. Thank you so much for listening.